Hi, today we're going to be looking at how to replace broken pole elastic in a tent pole. But before we get started, here's a top tip to help you avoid damage in the first place. What commonly happens is when a tent in its bag is dropped on its end, the elastic is trapped between the metal ferrule and the ground, and this leads to it being severed or damaged. In extreme cases, this can also damage any part of your tent that is wrapped over the end of the pole, so do try and avoid that if you can. Unfortunately, it can be difficult to effect an emergency repair on a campsite because you simply won't have the tools available. However, with care, it is possible to pitch a tent with a pole missing its elastic. What you need to do is reassemble the pole sections in the right order, and if you're prepared or if you're lucky, you may have some duct tape or emergency repair tape or sellotape to hand, something like that, and you can tape the pole sections together. If you don't have any tape, you'll still be able to manage, you'll just have to be extra careful to prevent the pole section separating. So take your pole section over to your tent and start feeding it into the pole sleeves, and you must ensure at all times that you're keeping constant pressure on that pole to prevent it separating. It can be really helpful to have a second person at the leading edge of the pole to help unsnag it from the sleeves. As soon as you've got the pole through the other side, bend it in position and pin it immediately. From there on, you should be fine. So to replace the elastic in your poles, there are a few items you will need. Firstly, some new elastic. It wants to be a similar diameter to that you're replacing, and in terms of length, it wants to be 2 or 3 sections shorter than your overall pole length. That should get you in the right ballpark. You'll also need a pair of scissors to trim that down, and some thin wire, something like a wire coat hanger will do, and this is to thread the first of the pole sections, which can be a little bit tricky. There are a couple of other things you may need, and that's a screwdriver and a pair of tweezers. This is because the end of the pole ferrules tend to get jammed up with mud, so use a screwdriver to clear that away. That should expose the knot inside, which you can then take the tweezers with, remove, untie the knot, and then clear away the old elastic. Okay, now I'll demonstrate to you how to restring a pole with elastic. So, once you've got the old elastic removed, you need to identify which end of the pole to start threading from. One of the sections at the end of your pole will have a metal ferrule at either end, and this is the end of the pole set you need to start rethreading at. At the other end, the section will only have one metal ferrule. If you start threading here, you're going to make your life quite a lot more difficult. So take the double ferrule section and feed your pull wire through there. Then pop the elastic through the end. And draw it through. Now you've got the first section done, which is the trickiest. It should be quite straightforward then to rethread all the remaining sections of pole. Now, what you may find if you've pre-cut your elastic to the correct length for the tension of the pole is that you won't have enough elastic left to feed the final 2 or 3 sections. So what you need to do now is draw the elastic as tight as you can through the sections that you've already threaded. And then you need to tie a check knot in the elastic to prevent that slack going back down again. Once you reach the end, tie a decent sized check knot in there, then come back 2 or 3 sections and untie your previous check knot. And there you have it, a complete restrung pole. Well, we hope you feel better equipped to deal with broken pole elastic. Happy camping!